We are talking about mentoring, which is very, very key to our heads and strategies, because that's been the success tool that has created everything that I can humbly deliver today. So I've now decided to cover a little bit more about my journey with you. Is that okay? We've already covered. Personal success strategies, things that have worked for me. Brief values, beliefs and value systems. Overcoming procrastination. Has anybody here ever procrastinated? Oh, I thought it was just me. Sorry. I feel as though I'm in the right room now. Thank you. Unlocking your potential, your true potential as a person, not just as a business person, but as a father, as a mother, as a brother, as a sister. Your relationship with all your staff, with everybody who works in your world. And the true secret of the success that I've delivered is my mastermind. Now, in my life, I'll show you my mentors. This is really the thing that pulls me through, because everybody has their own version of life. But at some stages, it's good to have counsel, right? Have you ever been any of these? Now, tell the truth, please. Fearful?
Yes.
Unsupported?
Yes.
Stressed? That was a big one. Lost in business or life? I think there'll be very few people who actually say that they aren't at any stage, because financial stability has got nothing to do with success in life. We've already covered this with Harris. Financially tight. Show of hands. Boom, I'm in the right room. Undisciplined? Be honest. Distracted. Because a very good friend of mine, my father, said to me, "Son, you are thinking of something all the time. So you are always focused on something, am I wrong?" Have you ever been and experienced any of these? Lack of direction, and speed through because we've got a yes. Lack of support, belief, clarity. I've all been these. And I put my hand up and I played. I said I'd be honest and play at full percent. In fact, some of them, I'll put 2 hands up. First of all, why would you even listen to me? Now, that is the most important part of my life. An award-winning, yes, coach. I'm just going to cover this quickly if I can. Just dump it out if I may. Yes, a lot of people say that's an interesting point. And I tell you what, it's a great point for conversation. But what we are is far greater than all of these things. This is interesting to some people as well. Has anybody got a version or an understanding of what financially free means? Would anybody be honest enough just to give me an answer of what that means to you?
You can buy a helicopter without thinking about it.
We have a Scottish lady in the house. Yes! Buy a helicopter without thinking about it. Anybody else? It's great that we're moving into the emotional stuff. You speak to a financial director, he will say something different, I think. He'll say, being able to live within my set parameter of income, but without actually having to actively do something to raise that money. That's changed the mission, hasn't it? If I have an overhead of £3,000 sterling, whatever that works out in krona, and then I actually bring in passively more than the 3,000, am I now financially free? In my book, yes. Because that will give you the freedom, right? The headspace, the mindset to be able to deliver the change for your loved ones, for yourself, for all the things that matter to you, all the stuff we've covered. This is my family. Now you understand why I'm so passionate about delivering my life. Because I can only show you my journey. Because when I go down under, I'll have nothing with me. I came with nothing, and I'll leave with nothing. But this is what I will leave on the planet. At least I hope they will outlive me. And now I'm going to share with you the core to why I am who I am, who I feel very proud and humbled about, and it is my parents. These are the core of my life. They are my mentors. They are the people who can catalyst my 7 generations of business acumen. Now, why would I share this information with you? Because I believe that with success comes major responsibility, financially I'm talking, emotionally, business. We should all become rounded human beings, am I right? Would that be a good thing to be? Somebody who's financially free, but somebody who can actually help other people to try and become financially free, or to take a different part of the journey, have self-respect. These are the important parts of life. I want to share or change my world. 2006, I had a near-death experience. I had hepatitis A, which took me from the peak of my performance in 2006 at the age of 31. If you're quick at maths, I was 40 last month, yes. And I can laugh and joke about it, but even now when I talk about it, I get a little emotional about it. But I like to keep those vulnerabilities because I'm human, right? But I nearly died. My eldest daughter was 10 years old. I was 2 hours away from not being alive. That's a very big thing to face when you've got your children in front of you, your wife who's such a young lady, and I'm the youngest of my 8 siblings. I have 8 brothers and sisters. 13 months away from a group of companies in a spiritual awakening. And I learned how to return companies from liquidated state. 2 of my then 14 companies were so reliant on my time, me physically being involved in them, that they had to go through liquidation, which is no big deal. You're not really a business entrepreneur unless you have liquidated. Does that translate here, liquidated, or in conversation? Yeah. So you would not really be a person. So I've lost a few million in cash, without a doubt. But then I feel as though I spent my time in focusing on, this is the gifts that I have in my head, to focus why, what changed? What did I need to change in my life? So please ask yourselves inner questions today. I love the law of action, not attraction as well. But the law of action, what action am I going to take after this? So, I have reevaluated my life, my mission. Did I have more to do in life? Has anybody ever been through that sort of process and thinking that they've got more to do in life? Yeah. Can I, if I can, yeah? Good. So everybody else is absolutely happy with what they've got to do, what they've done in their life and what they are in life? Does anybody else who didn't put your hand up not feel as though you want to do more in life? So what I needed to change in my life was I needed a bigger purpose, or a redefined purpose in my life. Because up until that age group, it was financial, I'll be straight. I'm naturally what we call a dominant type character. But in my learnings, I have changed that understanding. So I was always pushed myself towards a goal. I've always had a goal in my life. And I'm going to share later on the strategies that I've used to create those sort of goals and achievements. But why I'm asking this question in specific is everybody actually living their current purpose? Well, I wasn't. I thought it was finance. I thought it was establishment. I thought it was variety within business. I thought it was all of these things. But I quickly learnt when I became so insignificant and realized I was not immortal, that it was more than this. And then I started thinking that why was it that other people were doing things differently to myself, and why is it that they were not achieving their goals, financially, emotionally, with relationships, health, all of those things. And then I started thinking, well, what did I do that was different? And I was blessed, and I didn't realize that everybody wasn't the same. They didn't have 7 generations or generations of information to be shared. We're actually homegrown entrepreneurs, my family, the Wahiwalas, and we have basically had this handed down generation to generation. It's kind of a nice place to be. So I don't feel gutted to tell you that. I feel very proud to tell you that. But what I'm going to do is share some of it with you. How did I keep control of my business whilst I came back to regrow? Without a doubt, my father and my mother I've mentioned before. Now, both are very different. They're very spiritually connected. So there has to be a similarity between people. And in my parents were very spiritually gifted. So they're very attuned to each other. That kept them together. But the rest of it, very different. My father, very, very strong in the drive. Sees the big picture, went for it every single time. Didn't hold back. Didn't care about the details. He had belief he was going to deliver it and change it. Mum, on the other hand, was like, calm down, take it easy, don't go and buy another 10 properties. You don't want to do that because you might lose money on them. So she won sometimes and he won sometimes. She probably won more. So my father's quote, son, never work with people who haven't lost money, as they may not have the true value of money. That was nice to see some faces tickle over there. Most people say, have you lost money? Oh, I don't want to work with you. Am I right? Yeah. I'll stand the opposite way.
I'm your man.
Ollie, please, you take the stage. He's the man. I love that. Thank you for that. So what did I discover? An unconscious success structure that was being handed to us generation after generation. There was a formula. There was a process. All strategy, what we were talking about earlier on. There was a process that my family was following. Maybe it wasn't encapsulated in 1 step, 2 step, 3 step, 4 step, which I would like to think I tried to do. The most important thing that I would like to start with today is discipline. Who here can honestly put their hand on heart and say they're very disciplined?
I can say that I'm not.
Thank you. So, there is a discipline behind that. The discipline is randomness or whatever else you're suggesting behind that. Masterminding, the key thing I want to talk about today. Because this is what really grows your businesses financially, fiscally as well, but emotionally and structuralizes them as well. And mentoring as a whole. Who here has a mentor? Could you put it higher? Have you noticed all the speakers have mentors? Could that be a little hint? It's a great thing to have a mentor. Sharing your learnings. Because my father teaches me, and he told me from a very young age, he said, son, you've never completed the cycle of learning until you've actually digested it and shared it with another person. Because then you see how you show up and what you really understood. So it's a key element. And obviously, reward yourself, but I don't want people spending money before they've got it. Alfred Korzybski is pretty much the founding father of psychological understanding within business, emotional, family, and stuff of that nature. Before a gentleman who's called, would basically, I think it's called the Think and Grow Rich. Yeah? So before that was a gentleman, and he wrote the book called Science and Sanity. If you want to take note of this, it's a biblical quality. People today have regurgitated paragraphs from this and created whole philosophies. Has anybody here heard of the map is not the territory? Anybody? No. Used a lot in corporate worlds, yeah? The map is not the territory is his product. He created it. He wrote it, 1933. So we are meaning-making machines, is what he says. What he says is without meaning, there is no action. Every action is preceded with a meaning made. Every single action. The act to do, the act not to do, is still an action, isn't it? Yeah? So we are still making a meaning. I will not do this, I will do this. And that has to reside on an internal meaning. So you see, there's a lot of philosophy that's coming from this one book. So I'm going to cover discipline, which I think is one of the key stones to successful financial gain. Discipline, what does that mean to anybody? Can somebody just say, because we've got a lot of hands saying I'm undisciplined, but we had a few that said we're disciplined. Who were they, please?
Do what you have to do when you don't feel like it.
Do what you've got to do.
When you don't feel like it.
When you don't feel like it.
Yeah,
Okay.
do it.
Just do it. That's an amazing discipline. Now, if we go back to Korzybski's logic, could it be as easy as just to change the meaning of the action that you've got to do? Because we're meaning-making machines, right?
Yeah.
So could that happen? Would that be valuable to you? Great learning, because I used to come to my father, every business entity we were working with, and I say, I can't do that. That's not possible. And then he'd say, just do it, which is where you're coming from. Just do it. So I'd get up and go and do this, but I didn't know that actually he had already seen a way of doing it, and he knew I'd learn. And he'd accidentally say a few crumbs along the way, and then I'd achieve it. So for example, a property, I could not see any margin, any profit in it. It was a buying of a simple 2-bedroom flat. How could I make this a profitable act? Because it was very, very narrow in the margin. But he knew what was happening in the local area, because I hadn't done the diligence. He knew a train station was going to be installed there. So he said, even if you buy this at market value, give it a year, give it 2 years, it'll near on put a third on the value, because it becomes a commuter belt. So his discipline taught me to do something when I don't want to do it, but the point behind this is it's a ritual that we must create. So who here can safely say that they are looking to create a ritual today? You want to be able to walk away with a structure and a strategy that you want to repeat. For some people, it could be waking up at 11 o'clock at night. For some, it could be waking up at 5 o'clock in the morning. And that's just a simple example of a ritual. But discipline, just to carry on with what you were saying there, Daniel, is to create the routine. And that's the powerhouse. Commit to it. How can you commit to a ritual?
Having a passion for it.
Passion, meaning. We were talking about just a moment ago. So please write down, to create commitment, I must have the meaning attached, the passion for it. Otherwise, there is no ritual. There's no commitment. And if it works, you repeat it again and again and again. Look to refine it, but do repeat it. You know, I've made lots of complex situations very simple, because I think that's the key to life. The more complicated we talk about things, the less action we're going to take toward it, because it gets confusing. Evaluation. This is the key point that lived my life. Creating an evaluation of where you are, where you intended to be, and where you actually are. And then finally, did this work? Do I need to repeat it again? Do I not need to repeat it again? Because every single learning that you run through is an amazing learning for you to decide yes or no. Do I repeat this again, or do I not repeat this again? Masterminding is a key element. With masterminding, key element is a peer group. Now, what does that mean to anybody? Can anybody just help me with that? A peer group or a mastermind. Does anybody understand what a mastermind is? If you are the brightest person, the cleverest person in the room, is it safe to say you're in the wrong bloody room? Does that make sense? Are you really growing if you're the cleverest person in that room? That's why you had to change the perspective of those children, the students. And that's what happened with me all the time. I always had peers. I always had people to look up to. I always asked keen questions. Like-minded individuals. Now you have camaraderie, which is within masterminding. So you get people who work with you, who will see the same mission vision as you, who may be on the same journey as you, but have a different perspective, as we already understand. But they're there to support you. Friends are peer groups. Friends are a mastermind, inadvertently. So we all have masterminds. I just wanted to see whether anybody put their hand up. I hope we all have friends. I may not have friends, but I think I do. But the point is we have friends. Does that make sense? So that's really what it should be like. We should have like-mindedness, which is what friendship is all about. The regularity is the key part, because that's a regular meet. Because if we meet just once in a blue moon, every now and again, it becomes a kitty party or just a hi, how you doing? A checking in. Wouldn't it be good if somebody actually sat there with you and you regularly shared at every stage of your business? Could anybody see a value in that? So the regularity is key, because that's adding structure and strategy. Accountability buddies. Is that clear to everybody? A partner, an accountability partner, somebody who keeps you attended. Mentoring. Identify a mentor in your field that's going to help you. Unconditionally wants to share with you with everything that he learns or she learns, and wants to share with you on an unconditional level. Yes? So your field element is relevant, because if I turn around and I wanted to be a person who's got a model's figure like I have, and I wanted to become a model, who would I find to mentor me as being a model? Do you think it would be a good idea to find somebody who's gone through that process? Or maybe is in that environment? Yeah? So does that make sense? That's the relevance of a mentor. Coaches are different, and I'll show you this in a moment. Clear your expectations with your mentor. How many people have I met, absolute loads, who have got a mentor but never actually clear their expectations? They always feel indebted to their mentor, as opposed to feeling that there is a mutual respect. So they don't clear expectations. They always just pick up all the scraps they give and don't make it very clear what they're looking for. But I didn't, because it was my father, so I had a lot more abruptness with him, and I could be really open and say, Dad, I don't know what the hell I'm doing here. Does this work? How can this work? So be very clear with your expectations. You want to say, I would like to be a multimillionaire in 5 years. That's what your achievement's supposed to be, the clarity, the vision, the strategy, the purpose, but more importantly, the clarity of where you're trying to go. So model them. Modeling them is a nice way of saying copy them. But you can't say copy much. So model them. Pick up all the best things that the practices they deliver. Are they sharp? Are they always on time? Do they Does it matter if they're on time in their world? Model them how they think. Think about what are they doing when they're engaging individuals. How do they actually think about finances and money? Because that's the key, isn't it, in life? Because we have to get somewhere. We need that clarity of mind. We need that safety net, don't we? Yeah. So model them. And the others in your group. Reading books is a constant knowledge. We need this because books are your mentors as well, are they not? Stretch yourself. Don't be the brightest person in the room. Go and find another room to be the dimmest person so you can be stretched with the group. Ensure you've got that connectivity with them. The regularity again. You must meet regularly. Now it sounds repetition, so it could either be important or I've made a mistake. But the regularity is very key. Always ask good questions. Evaluate your progress with that mentor. I think you'll notice that evaluation is very key. Very, very key. Evaluation. Does anybody know how to evaluate things? Just think about what you're attempting to achieve, what you're actually achieving, and are we en route? Have I done it? Have I achieved it? Is this really where I wanted to go? Because I know I wanted to go and do this, but am I supposed to be here? Have I misdirected myself? Has my purpose changed? Am I moving to a different direction? Don't just carry on mindlessly down the route because you paid for something. Yeah? Share your learnings. Value your progress. How many people do I meet here? Tell me, who absolutely values themselves in every which way? And I know a lot of hands will say yes, but are we really talking 100%? Do you value yourself? So you need to value yourself. You need to value what you've got to deliver. You've got to believe that your product, what you're trying to share with the world, your mission, the business that you're about to start or are in, is actually going to make a difference in the world. Now, we know the other logic of adding value to your organization, and that's another keynote totally. But that is very key. Are you clear on your purpose? Are you clear of what we were just speaking about this morning? And that has to come from valuation of yourself. Have I really got the guts to stand on stage? Am I really going to help somebody? Identify your learnings, which means reassess. When you've done something well, assess it and say, wow, that really worked. And then that's a part of sharing, because if you don't assess it, you can't share with somebody. You can't say, why didn't you do it this way around? Or you've got to be sharp enough to realize that when you are advising people, that there's a strategy in there. You've done it. Teach others everything that you can. Why? Because I believe that I'm a man of one breath. Whether I breathe in or breathe out, I have no control over the next step. We were talking about this just yesterday. So in context of that, the more you can share, let's just go on a superficial spiritual level, the more you're going to create change on the planet. Value yourself and your life and everybody around you. You really need to have them. And I'm pushing really strong on this value. And I'm saying, is he just holding on this point? Have you not realized maybe I've got a commonality with everybody? Everybody has this problem. Everybody has this challenge. The moment I step on top of this stage, gratification, what does that mean? Giving, acknowledging that you are doing some good on the planet. Make it quantifiable. This is a smaller in top-level information, but there's lots more depth in each one of these conversations, and I'm willing to have that conversation with everybody. I'll be humbled, actually. So I'm going to speed up because I've been kicked. Evaluate the process. So the 7 steps, share it. Set smarter goals, so set your goal, basically. Discipline yourself to achieve the goal. Find model discipline from other people who have actually achieved where you want to go. Mastermind, find the support, the key people around you who are actually going to hold you accountable to that point. Mentoring, it's super important to have a mentor. And within the mentoring comes a realm of coaching as well. And share your learnings. I'm just going to speed this for you. And reward yourself. And I'm not saying reward yourself right away. Reward yourself once you've achieved something. It doesn't have to be just financial. Reward yourself. And it could be, in my case, I deliver here. I come out to deliver change. And then when I go home, I spend time with my family. What is the difference of having a coach and a mentor? So a coach, in theory, could be pushing you, and a mentor could be lifting you. So the power of a coach, usually technically skilled, motivated, does not need any industry knowledge, disciplined, obviously, structured. Now, why do I say it doesn't need any industry knowledge? Because a coach can be a mindset coach, somebody who just gets, I could help I'm sure you would agree, I could probably help a sports person. I work hard on this physique, But I could, mentally. I couldn't be his mentor, because I don't live that dream. I'm not where he wants to be. But I could probably change his mindset to achieve himself, right? So there's the skill. I don't have to have industry knowledge. But I need to be disciplined, structured, and I need to be a peak performance trained individual, pushing people to the best of their potential. Limitations relies on your knowledge. In some cases, I would rely on his knowledge or her knowledge to invite them in their sports, and the ability to take action. Lack of experience in the thing, in the line of work, may take longer to get your business goals. May take longer. Not yes, it will take longer. It may take longer to get your business goals because they've possibly not been there. Yeah. So no relevant tips. Sorry, did everybody get that? Yeah. Tried and tested methods. Then the mentor comes in. A mentor is someone who is industry knowledge. Remember, specific in your line. Experienced, accomplished, inspirational. Somebody who inspires you to create the change, not forces you or pushes you. A lot of mentors tend to be very abrupt as well. Tried and tested, very key. So they have to be living where you want to be or achieved what you wanted to achieve. Key difference between a mentor? Trusted. The challenge of a mentor, active in their own business possibly, so they have less time. Not always driven for your success because they're busy doing their own. A lot of people who've worked with mentors, that can happen. They may hold key strategies back because they're still using them. They don't want another competitor. Yeah? Not the best communicators. There might be somebody who says, you want to do it. Not, see you later. Not like a coach who tries to get you to do it. So what if you get both in the same program? This is what I just want to cover, if it's okay. I'm going to show you that you should ask for what you want in life. My mission statement is to create change on this planet, so I need to ask you to take your own journey. So you can get a win-win situation. My mission in life is to inspire and create change in the worlds of others. And I mean that genuinely. So the question always arises that, how can I do more? This is a lady called Edith Cavell, who saved over 200 lives in World War II, during the time when she actually she got hung for it herself, but she put her time out and got people out of a concentration camp and helped people. Edith Cavell says, I can do more. She's a nurse. She was. How often do you ask yourself or tell yourself or inspire yourself to say, I can do more? Well, I did. This really influenced me. I'm lucky because in Peterborough there's a hospital under the name of Edith Cavell, so it was under my nose, where I come from in England, and I paid attention to it. So, how could personal mentoring help you grow yourself or your companies? So I created a dedicated, skilled level of staff, a team that actually cared, people who've been my previous mentees, so they follow the philosophies that I've shared, but they're actually there to care for people. But it's got to be structured and orderly. So we have an IT system, a cloud-based software that supports the whole of this. So it could be international, which is what the product is today. Regular in-person group meetings or virtual meetings. But that means the regularity has to be there for accountability, and a team who extends the same values as myself. This is what I wanted to deliver back, because my inspiration is to create the change. And I wanted to share what I had as a child. But how could I systemize it? How could I share that information? The support, the counsel, the yes, you can do it. Let me show you how. So I didn't have that with people I was talking to. I wanted to share this with them. So I took action. Law of action. We created a system for others to join, a dedicated team that were in the mission. No matter what time you're not going to connect with them or call with them, they're there to help you. They'll call you. They will say that they're going to call you once a month, guaranteed, and they do. The virtual monthly structured mastermind group, which is through a process which we call iMeet. It's very simple and easy to get hold of. And most importantly, the big word called enjoyment. We have good fun while we're delivering, but we're very strategic. And it is an international program. It's something that allows people to communicate on a monthly basis. Every 2 weeks we're in your life. So we give you a coaching call and a check-in call every 2 weeks, and then the following 2 weeks we actually physically meet you on the visual as well. We keep you fully accountable in a cloud format. So the moment you've set your target, within seconds, it's on your computer screen. So it's live and it's accountable. We set you buddies. We ensure that you've actually got people to hold you accountable, and it's a different person every single month. We have a really great strategy that we've been trialing, and it's you're never keeping your buddy, your partner, accountable. It's always a different person. So if I was to keep Runa would be keeping, let's say, Monique at the back accountable. So we're keeping different people. Why? Because we can't trade off. I am involved in every single delivery. Currently, I've sold 3 of my companies. I run currently 12 organizations and companies. But I still stand here talking to you because obviously it's the team. We were talking about it earlier on. I have a beautiful team, and I care and love for every one of them. But what I will absolutely commit to is being in that room. Would anybody like me to be in that room? Could you see any value in me helping somebody? What I'd like to do is just take you through the journey. So I can talk about strategies, but I can just say, hang on, let me take you for a ride. Let's make this work. Pretty much I'm done. I know I'm overrun. My apologies. Any questions? Feel free.